Attention passengers. This is your co-pilot speaking. Your pilot is black mind, so you are not going blind and there is no power failure. You are merely experiencing the immense blackness of his proximity, and when you hear his voice, you and the cabin will get even darker than you are currently. We will be cruising at the speed equal to light, because the one other thing that travels equally fast is darkness. Your loved ones awaiting your arrival may not recognize you at first sight. This is normal. Simply tell them about the pilot, and they will understand. We will taxi to the runway now, so please buckle up and prepare for a high-speed departure. Thank you for choosing Jet Black Airways, where the phrase jet black is also a verb. We hope you keep jetting black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off. Justice forever.
If you are a man and you can't pay all the bills, I do not want you to join any masculine, modern women conversations. If you are not a man that can provide a safe space for her to be vulnerable enough to embrace her femininity with you, then shut the up. If you don't provide and protect emotionally, financially, spiritually, at a high level, shut the up from a woman that can provide for herself. Quit complaining about these independent women. If you not a man, is going to be a solution to that. The reason why there's so many independent women out here is because like you be so not dependable. If you provide her with a hard life, don't complain about the fact that when she come in your life, she not being soft. You want a woman to be submissive to you when you can't even submit the full rent payment? All y'all do is offer stress and headaches and wondering why this woman ain't your piece.
Shout out to the Geek Underground for the clip you just heard of Ace Metaphor, Oh Itch Bass. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. And I really appreciate you guys coming through like you have. I wanted this one to be about NITL, not until it's too late. But I'm going to have to summarize that one in this one to get to the meat of what I really got to talk about right now. So regarding NITL, let me state that this is a problem for black people in general. Whether it is the ratchet Isha or the good woman or the purple pill man or the red pill aware man or a black manospherean, if you want to call it that, call us that, SYSBM or passport bro, kind of. Now, those of us in the black manosphere tend to have this the least. I would say that. We tend to suffer the least from this principle of not until it's too late, or commitment to the NITL principle. But it is a principle. We, collectively speaking, as black folks, tend to regard this as a principle. And this is something that we tend to do regardless of nationality. It is the reason why it is that Noah, alayhi salam, the prophet, had to leave behind a lot of people and just let them drown. They weren't going to see the wisdom until it was too late, even when it rained. They weren't going to see the wisdom in it until the rain didn't stop. Not until it's too late. Noah was saying, look, come help build this ark. Get your butts on board. And they set up and said, not until it's too late. They weren't saying, just, we don't believe you. When they showed up at the ark, after the rains came and they wouldn't stop and things were flooding, and they didn't know when it was going to quit, and they were wading through water to get to the ark, and banging on the doors to be let in, come on, let us in. See, what they did not understand was that they were now changing their answer to not until it's too late. That is our principle. This is our downfall. Unfortunately, the way that America's going right now, it looks to me like it's going to become not the same country, not even become a country or a bunch of countries, maybe. I don't know, but it seems to be on a more rapid decline than what I previously thought. That's what it looks like to me from the outside looking in. In any case, it's on a decline. Wages will not go up and prices will not go down, and they won't even come to a happy medium. You would think that an economy eventually would have to correct itself. Apparently, it doesn't. And since people there are not used to being a third world nation, all of a sudden being forced to be a third world nation is going to make a lot of people snap and choose their lit. If you got a nice place to live, you're going to have to build walls around it and protect it with guns and ammo. Unfortunately, a lot of our people, black folks, did not want to listen to the message of reblactriation centuries and decades ago, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s. We didn't want to hear it. We heard it. Some of us talked about it. It was a hard thing to do, but a lot of us did not really want to try it, didn't even want to look into it. We were just like, it's America. It's America. For me, America's the best. Only going to be America. And now a lot of them same folks are sitting up here, because even quite a few of us in the black manosphere that believe in leaving a few years ago were like, America's the greatest country in the world because of Trump and the white man. Yeah, there were plenty of us that were sounding like Republicans a few years ago. It stopped. I'm glad it did. And I've given credit for that. But it appears that it may already be too late, because you see, the time it would take for most of any population to fit the guck out of the states, well, that time, unfortunately, is bound to be longer than what the United States has. It is bound to be. And I'm probably going to wind up suffering for it, because the only passport I have is a U.S. passport. And there's probably going to come a day when you don't want that passport no more. I already, I know it's coming. I just don't know when. And one of the only reasons I'm really, really, really worried about making a lot of money is one of, it ain't about 3 reasons I'm really worried about it. But one of them is because I wanted to get another passport. And I probably would never be able to afford that. I can see why I would need it, but I can't beat the deadline. But that's not you all's fault. I'm not blaming any of you for that. I'm simply stating that I can see it. But a lot of our population, even red pill aware and pro-black, are going to be lost. Even Pan-African are going to be lost because we lived by the principle NITL. Now, let me get to why I open this up to record regarding ace metaphor with your agate fast. Ace metaphor, you a bold hitch for that. This is a gender war. This is not a gender conflict. This is not just a difference between, what the women want and the men want. What it is that they are at war with us, and you know this. They want to take and not give. That's what they want. They want to drain us. They want to take from us by force and leave us with nothing, no matter how hard we work for it. That is what they're looking for, and you know this. And you've got your mind made up like an idiot that for some dumb, odd reason, you're going to sit up here and just tell us that we should just somehow make more and have more and hand more to them in order for them to submit. When we've made less money and they still had to work and they did listen, they've done better than when they have made their own money than us, made more money than us, and they haven't listened. We're still doing better. They're still doing better when they've done exactly what they said they ain't going to do no more. They're going to bring up abuse and things like that, but that actually didn't happen very often. And they're lying, and they know it. It wasn't common for them to be abused. And everybody else around the world that knows anything about us knows this too. The average Saudi knows that we black men don't beat up black women, that we don't beat women. They generally know this. They'll look at how they act and say, y'all don't hit them. And now that they don't hit their women at all, and then they rarely did that even before, but now that they do it even less because it's illegal and it costs them $50,000 of the local currency if they do it, and she takes it to court, guess what else is happening? This is where it gets funny, where it gets hilarious. They're saying that their own over here. Oh yeah, these demure and feminine and conservative women, which they are lighting up cigarettes and pretty much anything else that their men would not want them to do, they're doing. Yeah, it's that bad. So while you're sitting up and saying that we just need to somehow find a way to have more than what we have because she wants that in order to submit. What you're failing to understand, and what you're gladly and probably intentionally overlooking, ace metaphor, is that it's a gender war. It's not just a conflict, but a war. And that what they really want is for you to have nothing. You think that by just all of a sudden coming down hard on us, we're going to somehow have what she wants us to have. And you're ignoring the fact that the system is set up and rigged so that we would have less. You're conveniently ignoring that. You're also conveniently ignoring that we're still doing better and we still have more than we were, than the system was designed for us to have. And that additionally, they're not doing better than us. They just don't want to listen. And they don't want to listen because they want what Miss Ann has. And they actually want what they think Miss Ann has because, well, as we now know, and as you are finding out, it is a myth of white womanhood. It's not a reality, it's just a myth. You're coming to understand this, but you're lying about it because you don't want anybody to know. And the reason for that is because you realize that you can make money pandering to the lying bitches, the wicked witches of the West. The hyena Westernisha will pay you a little bit per head, but a lot of money in total for you. And you will collect. And you will collect more than if you were to tell the truth. Well, newsflash, that's generally the sacrifice and the test of this life. The life of this world is generally based on that. People hate that. I know. They hate that dichotomy. I hate that dichotomy. But in both of our religions, well, I don't know what your religion is, actually. But most of us know the concept of the Antichrist. What is the Antichrist really going to do? Well, the Antichrist is going to be able to financially reward people for worshiping other than God and financially punish people and even starve them for worshiping God. And that's what the problem is. And that's where his power lies. And so that's part of why it is that he's so dreadful. And his system is dreadful. But that sort of test has always been around. And what you're pretty much saying is, well, I'm going to fail that test every time. I don't care if the men are right and ladies are wrong. I'm going to lie. I'm just going to blame it on the men because the women will pay me to say it. One of the reasons is because, well, one of the reasons they'll pay you to say it is because it's not true. And there's a part of them that knows it's not true. There's a part of them that knows that they're wrong, that they're the ones who are difficult, that they're the ones who are causing the trouble. And that there's a part of them that knows that no matter what you do, they're going to want more. And no matter what goals you meet, they're going to shift the goal post. There's a part of them that knows they're difficult. And that they're going to remain difficult unless they get themselves under control and in check. And they're not going to do that to themselves because that doesn't get them what they want in life. And you're sitting up here and trying to convince men to simp for not only women, but for the worst women on the planet, the Western women. Well, that makes you a race traitor, sir. You see, our people cannot afford this, and a lot more of us are waking up and realize that we cannot afford this. But you're sitting up and you're saying, well, do it anyway. You're sitting up and telling these men that suffering is their job. Working hard and handing over all of the rent is their job. Well, that is the case when he gets to decide where they live. But you want her to be able to decide where they live, which would usually be beyond what he can afford. And then because he can't afford the whole thing, she ain't got to submit. which is really nothing but rewarding her with an undue authority for not submitting to the first authority in the first place. How about you just leave him? How about he just leave her, better yet? Are you ready for that? And since I'm around some other folks, I'm going to refrain from continuing on before I start cursing. But suffice it to say that you and Locario and other, especially black men who preach game, I wouldn't so much say frame, but game, and trying and continuing to try, are race traitors. And those of you who blame passport bros for getting themselves killed are just damn liars. Because those guys doing so, those guys aren't even passport bros. Passport bros don't make a mistake like that, on average. Maybe a novice, but, and I'm not saying this as a passport bro, but as SYSBM. But that's another talk for another day. Thank you all for listening. And I'm going to refrain from the usual outro for a good reason. But y'all know what it is. Till next time.